The day she said, "Why do I look solid?" while lightly knocking on her own arm, I knew we had officially reached awareness. She wasn't joking. She actually tapped her arm twice, like she was checking if it was made of wood. We were standing in front of her mirror after getting ready to go out. She turned sideways, then she turned front. Then she squinted like she was trying to unlock a secret. Finally she said, "I don't feel big, but I look compact." Her name is Nadine, and I watched her body slowly change without her ever doing anything extreme. That's the part that confused her the most. Nadine did not overeat. She did not snack all day. She did not live on sweets. She had structure, breakfast, lunch, dinner, very organized, very adult. She drank water. She rarely ordered takeout. If someone described her diet from a distance, it would sound responsible. But here is what I noticed. Her meals were always heavy and very similar. Breakfast was usually bread, eggs, maybe cheese. Lunch was rice or pasta with something rich on top. Dinner looked like lunch again. Everything was warm, filling, and serious. There was very little color on her plate. If a vegetable appeared, it was small and soft and hiding under something else. Fruit was almost non-existent. I once asked her when she last bought fruit, and she said, "I think I had grapes last year." She wasn't careless. She just didn't think about balance. She believed that as long as she wasn't eating junk, she was fine. And at first, she was. But months passed, and tiny changes started appearing. Her waist thickened slightly. Her face filled out. Her clothes fit tighter, not in a dramatic way, but enough that she adjusted them more often. She started choosing looser tops without announcing it. She avoided certain fitted dresses. She never said she felt bad. She just quietly adapted. One afternoon we were cleaning her kitchen. I opened her fridge and stared for a long moment. Containers of leftovers, cooked meals, sauces, yogurt, drinks, but no fruit. No fresh vegetables, no bright colors. It looked organized but lifeless, like a fridge that had forgotten about plants. I asked her, "When was the last time you bought fruit?" She paused, then laughed. "I honestly don't know." That was the first time she looked slightly embarrassed. The shift didn't happen because of panic. It happened because of curiosity. She wanted to see if adding something simple would make a difference. Not removing, not restricting, just adding. That week, she came home with a large bag of apples and a big container of fresh spinach. That was it. No speech, no announcement. Just apples and spinach. The first morning, she washed an apple, dried it carefully, and took a bite. She chewed slowly and said, "This feels official." I asked what that meant. She said, "I don't know. It feels like I'm making a decision." She started eating one apple every morning before breakfast. Not instead of breakfast, just before it. She said the crunch made her feel awake. She said it tasted clean. I watched her chew thoughtfully, like she was studying it. The spinach was more dramatic. The first time, she added a large handful to her lunch plate. It looked like a garden accident. She stared at it and said, "This looks aggressive." But she mixed it into her rice and ate it anyway. It softened. It blended. It didn't ruin anything. It just added volume. After a week, something small changed. She felt full sooner during meals. Not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just satisfied earlier than usual. Because she had eaten an apple before breakfast and had spinach filling space on her plate, her portions naturally shifted. She didn't push food away dramatically. She just didn't need as much. 2 weeks passed, and she told me, "I don't feel heavy after lunch anymore." That sentence surprised her. She hadn't realized she usually felt heavy until that feeling disappeared. One funny moment happened when she got too excited with spinach and added so much to her dinner that it looked like a small bush. She stared at it and said, "I overestimated my farming skills." We laughed while she slowly worked through the green mountain. By the 3rd week, I noticed her face looked slightly less round, very subtle, but visible if you saw her every day like I did. Her energy also changed. She didn't slump on the couch after meals. She moved around calmly. She stopped sighing after climbing stairs. 1 month later, she stepped on the scale. She hadn't done that in a long time. She stood there quietly. Then she stepped off and back on. The number had shifted downward. Not dramatically, not shocking, but clearly. She looked at me and said, "All I did was eat apples and spinach." And she was right. The apple became non-negotiable. If she skipped it, she said her morning felt incomplete. She even started ranking apples by crispness. One day she said, "This one has confidence." I didn't know apples could have personality traits, but she was serious. Spinach became her quiet helper. She added it everywhere, under eggs, inside sandwiches, mixed into rice, under grilled food. Sometimes she would say, "I'm hiding leaves again," while smiling. Around the 2nd month, her clothes started fitting comfortably again. She pulled out an old pair of jeans one afternoon just to check something. They zipped smoothly. She stood there staring at herself. Not smiling big, just steady satisfaction. The funniest social moment happened when she visited her sister. Her sister looked at her plate full of food and said, "Since when do you eat like a rabbit?" Nadine replied calmly. "Since I decided to respect plants." I almost applauded. What impressed me most was how calm the whole process was. There was no drama, no forbidden foods, no stress. She still ate her usual meals. They just had more air, more fiber, more freshness. By the 3rd month, the difference was clear. Her waist softened in a balanced way. Her posture improved. She stopped adjusting her clothes constantly. She looked comfortable again. One evening, we sat together and she said something simple but powerful. I didn't realize how one-sided my meals were. That was it. No guilt, no shame, just awareness. Now, when I open her fridge, it looks alive. Apples in a bowl, spinach in containers, color everywhere. It feels different, lighter, and every time she bites into an apple with that focused expression, I remember the day she knocked on her arm and said she looked solid. Turns out she didn't need to fight her body. She just needed to invite plants to the table.